Imagine though for a second that there was a switch that you could turn on and you would immediately just constantly make the best choices. You would always choose to wake up early. You would always choose the banana over the candy bar. You would always choose to go to the masjid. You would always choose to pick up the Quran instead of flipping on the television. You would always choose the best decisions. But we don't have that switch, or do we? Roy Bowmister, the author of the book Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength, tells us, willpower is not a personality trait or a skill or a virtue. Instead, it operates like a muscle, and as such, it can be strengthened. So we can stick to our old habits and patterns, knowing deep down that we are not living to the level that we are capable of. Or we can choose to make changes necessary to live the life of one who is seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The term that I'm talking about is willpower. A term that there's several different translations for into Islamic lingo. One of them is struggle against ourselves. One of them is having himma, having the strength to overcome our bad habits. And if you think about our lives, the habits that we don't like about ourselves all boil down to willpower. It's that we're choosing to give in to our habit rather than choosing to break it. And we're choosing to not form a new habit, instead succumbing to something else. James Gordon says, it is not that some people will have willpower and some don't. It's not that some people have willpower and some don't. It is that some people are ready to change and others are not. We want to be among those who are willing to change. The first trick, he says, is meditate like a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, what am I doing in front of a masjid, in front of believers, talking about Zen Buddhism? Kelly McGonigal, who teaches a class on the science of willpower at Stanford University, ranks meditation as the #1 method to increase willpower. She says practicing mindfulness meditation for a few minutes each day can actually boost willpower by building gray matter in the areas of the brain that regulate emotions and govern decision making. Now, if we think about it, we've had meditation in our deen forever. In fact, I was just reading something that Isa alayhi salam actually used to pray almost the same way that we would pray at the same times that we would pray. And it goes back, even Musa alayhi salam, when he met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him salah. So we've had salah in our culture, in our practice, but are we benefiting from it as much as we should? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna salata tanha anil fahshai wal munkar. Salah saves you from obscenity and from evil. But why doesn't it work? I'll argue that we are not using it the right way. We are not engaging in salah the way it was intended to be. When we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for salah, actually even that statement, when we stand for salah, many of us, unfortunately, it's become habit, it's become ritual, it's become normal. But if you stand in salah the way that the Sahaba did, when Ali bin Abi Talib used to make wudu, his face would change, his outlook, his demeanor would change. And they asked him, what happens to you when you make wudu? He says, do you not know in front of who I'm about to stand? And so salah then became for him a tool to repurpose his life. It became a tool to regulate his life. He realized that he was standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he realized the benefit that salah, or what he was about to engage in. Salah is our main tool. It is the first thing that we will be asked about on the Day of Judgment. And if our salah is in order, everything else will be in order, as the hadith says.